On a misty night, the story starts in Spain, where there is a weird superhero costume party. Armed guards arrive with the arrival of Black Mask. Catwoman also arrives, catching the eyes of everyone around. She uses Black Mask so they can get into the party with his entourage. Inside, everyone is in costume, and the guards are extremely cautious when Tobias Harris comes to welcome them. Catwoman tells Black Mask to find her later, while they tend to business. They meet with the leader of Leviathon, Lady Barbara, and they discuss an entrance fee. Back at the party, Catwoman is eating and drinking before commenting on everyone's business before sneaking inside. The entourage returns to the party, and Black Mask comments on a recent setback. Meanwhile, alarms go off for the 70th time because of a cat on the roof, so security just disables the motion sensors so as not to disturb the guests. However, this was Catwoman's doing, so she could get to business. She climbs to the roof and avoids the cameras by looping the footage. The guards aren't even paying attention, and Catwoman is being super extra on the roof. She gets to the top porch and sneaks past a guard. She gets to the vault and manages to open it with ease. Inside, there is a large emerald. She uses makeup to reveal laser sensors, and then climbs to the ceiling. She swings across where she lands clean without tripping the lasers. After replacing the emerald with a cat toy, a batarang hits and trips the alarms, and she barely escapes the vault. While running, the guards open fire, and she gets back to the party, where she's found by the gang. They chase her, and everyone pulls out a weapon on her, and all mayhem ensues. She dodges left and right using her cat reflexes to get away. Finally, she introduces herself before leaving them and going back to her car to get away.
Pussy Boots has never been touched by a blade. Never been touched.
The guards get in their cars and chase after her down the mountain. The cat is playing with the emerald, while the guards are having trouble staying on the cliff. Meanwhile, the bat is after them as the chase is happening. They try to ram her, but she takes a car out. The rest of the cars catch up and surround to make a car sandwich. They try it again, but she outsmarts them, causing them to crash, with most of the rest following. The chase reaches the city, and they start to open fire at her. Tobias throws one of his men inside her car, but she deals with him and dumps him out. Suddenly, she is cut off and drives in reverse, getting one of the vans stuck. Tobias continues firing and pulls up next to her to grab her, but they crash and she gets away. It's not over though, as Batwoman arrives and causes her car to flip. She tells Catwoman that she's now Leviathan's #1 target before Catwoman passes out. Later, Tobias retrieves the emerald and hands her to his boss, but Black Mask isn't pleased with the fact that it was stolen in the first place. The lady doesn't let it go and vows to punish Selina Kyle. Selina wakes up later in front of Batwoman and realizes that it was she who messed up the heist, not Batman. Batwoman explains that Lady Barbara is not just a regular gangster. They're on board a jet with Interpol agents, Julia Pennyworth and King Faraday. They've met before, and Selina keeps annoying everyone. They explain to her that they're tracking Black Mask and Leviathan, which is why they left the emerald behind. Tracking Black Mask will lead them to a meeting with the entire criminal cartel. Catwoman is wanted in basically every country, and they give her an offer. She helps them bust Leviathan, and they'll make all her warrants disappear. Her job is to make herself a target at Leviathan. They believe they have to make an example of Catwoman and hire an assassin. The jet lands in Shanghai as they're following Lady Barbara. Batwoman's job is to keep an eye on Catwoman, who is getting ready to take a bath. The agents head out to track the lady, and things start to get weird. Selina is either seducing Batwoman, or she belongs to the streets, or both. She wants to ask Catwoman a question, a weird one, and takes off her mask. She seduces her, but jokes on her. It was a trick. Batwoman leaves angry, but Selina has stolen her tech. She calls someone while the cat roams around and she promises to return. Meanwhile, the crime syndicates meet and initiate Black Mask into Leviathan. Everyone is in favor of him joining, and he is introduced to the Yakuza, the Chinese cartel, and the Central American cartel, and they start flirting. Finally, Moxie Mannheim, who recognizes Black Mask due to an old conflict. They promise to play nice, but we doubt that. They discuss the failure in Sochi, but are assured of the coming success. Back on the jet, Batgirl tells Selina to stop with the sexual tension. Selina is angry when she's called Cat, and says that only one person can call her that, presumably Batman. They are suddenly called to get ready to start their operation. Batwoman hands Selina a parachute and an earpiece. She gets ready and jumps off the plane, and they are still suspicious of her. She opens her chute and is reminded that they have her cat, so she stays straight. She lands on the roof and starts mocking each other's names before Catwoman finds the meeting. Suddenly, an assassin creeps up from behind her. They bicker before starting the cat fight. She whips out her whip but gets scratched on the face. They continue the fight, and Catwoman is kicked around and destroyed, but Batwoman saves her. The cat forced her to. It's now 2 against 1, but the assassin is prepared. Her backup arrives in the form of Nosferatu. Bat against bat, and they start fighting. Then it's cat against cat. Batwoman is dropped from the air. She latches onto Nosferatu. She takes her for a tour while Catwoman fights below. The fight continues on land and air until they crash. The fight scene continues for way too long, and the roof cracks in front of the Syndicate. It finally crashes, and everyone falls inside, but dangles onto the flying demon. She calls them fat, and Catwoman kicks her assassin to the ground. Bat swings Cat above, so they use the demon to break their fall. Tom and Jerry was more believable than this. Anyways, they're surrounded by the Syndicate and are shot at. Batwoman uses a guard as a shield, but Black Mask shoots him, and they continue to fight below. Moxie activates his God of War belt and becomes a Transformer. The Chinese cartel whips up some monsters, while the cartel summons Yu-Gi-Oh! Demons.
It's time to duel!
Catwoman is written to be extremely overpowered in this movie, as they're surrounded by literal demons. The Yakuza attacks, and she turns into Kill Bill. Mayhem ensues as everyone is against everyone. Since when was Catwoman good with swords? The Yakuza leader confronts her, and she beats even him, but then Tobias finally steps in to end the cringe, like Hulk Hogan. He bear hugs her while Batwoman deals with the monsters. She glues the cartel leader's mouth shut, losing control of the demons, and they leave. This was extremely stupid. Catwoman is still getting crushed, but stabs Tobias in the legs and arms. Batwoman calls backup while they continue to fight, but they're running late. Suddenly they enter, and even the odds. They take out the demons, but the Transformers are still there. Faraday takes one out, but there is still a mess. Black Mask is knocked out before the rest of the Transformers are taken down, followed by the Chinese mob. Catwoman is still fighting Tobias until she fights dirty and takes him out. The scene is finally wrapped, and everyone is arrested and taken away, all except for Lady Minerva. Catwoman wants to leave, and she's free to go. She asks for the emerald back, but is told no. Later in Paris, Catwoman is still stealing stuff. Meanwhile, there are hundreds of assassins after her. Somehow she can take them, but Batwoman arrives to help. The writers decide that they can beat them all alone and have a conversation while doing it. It goes on for way too long again, and have a competition of who beats more ninjas. The last one runs away, and they both take him out. They're watched from afar by the Syndicate, who drops a package in front of them. It's Solomon Grundy. He approaches them and attacks them. They try to fight back, but he's too strong for them, and their tricks don't work. Catwoman leads him away from Batwoman. She gets to a warehouse, but he cuts her off. She leads him to a danger room and starts the fireworks in his mouth. After a huge explosion, he's without an arm and a head. Behind him is the Syndicate leader with the cat. She unleashes her true form. Is this Cheetah? She's leading Leviathan, and they start running their mouths. The fight finally starts, and we hope it's a short one. Unfortunately, it's not. They keep going around, and Catwoman gets slammed away. There is a fuel leak, while Catwoman is getting destroyed. Suddenly the fuel catches fire, and there's an explosion. Cheetah dangles off, but Catwoman is nowhere to be found. She follows her blood trail, and Catwoman is badly hurt. She tries to escape, and keeps hiding from Cheetah, but she finally finds her. She goes down a pipe, and runs with Cheetah on her tail. Batwoman follows their trail, and Catwoman gets in an elevator, while Cheetah climbs alongside. Catwoman jumps off the roof to a scaffolding, and Cheetah scares her into falling. She gets back up and they face each other. She tells Cheetah that she was the problem in Sochi, enraging her and getting the drop on her, using her whip to choke her until they're struck by lightning. Batwoman jumps after her and saves her, while Cheetah meets her demise. They land on top of each other and take a look at Cheetah's dead body. The Syndicate spots them, but gives it up and decides to hate Selina even more. Finally, Interpol arrives and wraps up the scene. Leviathan is not really over, as Selina explains that Cheetah was not the true leader. Selina leaves before implying that the entire movie was her plan, as if she cared about the human trafficking. After she leaves, they find out that Selina stole the emerald again and disappeared. Later on, Selina is enjoying her heist. She gets a call from one of her girls and says that she's returning to Gotham soon. First, she has to do something. This was a terrible movie. The storyline made no sense. Catwoman was written to be extremely overpowered. If Batman was in this movie, they would have made her beat him. She beat the entire League of Assassins by herself. Batwoman was also annoying, as well as every character. They sold this movie by just sexualizing her and Batwoman. The fights went on for way too long, as well as the chase scenes. Well, this brings us to the end of today's video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel to get more videos like this one. Your support helps us grow. And tell me what you think about this film. Was this the worst animated movie you've ever seen? Are there any redeeming qualities? Let me know in the comments below. I read all of them. And if you're watching till now, thank you. I'll see you in another video soon.